That would be hardcore. People would die. People would get killed. Imagine flying around, your broomstick malfunctions, you just go flying into a wall. That'd be like a legitimately dangerous sport. But we can't fly around on broomsticks. So, I mean, that's why I'm kind of just like, if you can't fly around on broomsticks, you just play lacrosse. It's the same thing. Yes, people die playing polo. Yeah. So we'll do a garage stretch break, and before we do, I'll leave you on this. Leave you with this here. And then we'll how did the car get there? Skills.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Now we're talking, Limprod, yeah. Um Any further word on SLS? How SLS came through the hurricane? Couple of scratches here and there, Audrey. No big deal. They fixed everything. NASA was confident in their decision to leave it out, even though the hurricane was a little bit more strong than they anticipated. SLS, believe it or not, they were able to keep tank pressure on it, and yeah, survived the hurricane pretty dang well. A lot better than you'd think. I mean, this is part of the reason why NASA takes so freaking long to do stuff. It's because they probably had somebody do the analysis on shear load winds for SLS at the launch pad. Like, the thing is literally designed to withstand 90 or 85 knot winds on the high level, which is ridiculous. Like, why would you even take that into account? But that's the reason why NASA goes slow, because you never know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually pretty dang good for an expendable rocket pop, isn't it? You believe that? Strange, dude. I don't hate it. Anyway, garage stretch break time. We'll get back to Kerbal in a moment. Camera one, camera two. Camera one, camera two. Hello. Hello again. What is that? What are you saying? You just asked me about the pointless tunnel during the Minecraft stream. Username, I know you built it. I'm just not sure what it's for. I don't care. We can keep it. Doesn't bother me. No point of view camera? Point of view? No. There should be a little bit of an echo. because it's picking up, hang on. I've already done, oh yeah, I needed to do 15 push-ups. You guys tipped for it. Oh boy. Okay. Did I get rid of the failed battery? No, it's sitting on my desk right here, believe it or not. It's right here. The only reason that I did is because the only reason I brought it back in is because it's really hot here today and the sun's out, and I didn't want this baking out in the sun. So I took it inside. I put it outside when it was cold, you know? Yeah, I didn't want it baking out in the sun because then it would bake out in the sun. Baked. He said baked. Baked. Hang on a second. Okay. So what I'll do, since we got a minute here, testing. You got an inch of snow, PBR? Oh boy. Much better? Cool. Hey, Franco. That was a 55-monther in there. How did you fix the GoPro? That's a webcam, dude. I didn't fix the GoPro. It's an hour east of St. Louis, so it's heading your way. Well, the hurricane, yeah, I mean, maybe. So the GoPro is toast. I don't know what the heck's wrong with this thing. I don't know if you need a special charging cable for this. This GoPro won't power on unless the battery's in it. And I'm not sure if like that's a thing that you can set or something. But yeah, it'll only power on when the cruddy battery is in it. So I don't know. We may have broken something. The sound changed. Yep, I put my lapel mic on. But yeah, fellas, I got a new gauge cluster coming for this thing that should fix all the problems that we had when we tried to put the other one in. And we'll stream all that. That should be next week. And then after that, I think for a little while, we're going to be done with this truck. And we need to work on that one. We need to work on the 59. So I'll back this out. I'll put it in the yard. And this thing is going to take center stage for a little while. I want us to go through this thing, and it has to be perfect. The reason why this thing has to be perfect, like, no expense spared for the rest of the work that needs to be done on this, is because Brimo wants this to be the vehicle that we drive away in during the wedding. This truck has to be immaculate. Like, I can't have it break, no breakdown, no nothing. It has to be perfect. So, yeah, we're gonna get into that thing. We're gonna get into it, and it's gonna get finished. I'll do what I have to do. Brimo said spend what you need to spend. Don't go bananas, but spend what you need to spend to fix it. So yeah, she wants to. We got engaged in this truck, and she wants to get married in that truck. I know what you're gonna say. Put a ring on it. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Are you gonna stream the wedding? No. No. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spend some days after we do the gauge cluster with this thing. We'll spend some days going through that thing. I'm going to take. We're gonna like. I put some stuff together. And I don't want to go and take the whole thing apart again like what I did, but we need to do some of that, some stuff we do need to take apart to get at the stuff that we need to fix. Wait, what wedding? No lost tire either? No, not on the other one. Does anyone know if EJ is planning to go see the first Electron launch? I want to. Yeah, I want to, so. Yeah, we could periodically do work on the 97, but there is a lot of stuff that this one needs to. Both of these trucks are pretty dang good. They just need a bunch of small things. Like, I mean, I don't need the tack dash, but I want it, so. Yeah, it's going on. But, yeah, we got to make sure that truck, the 59, is immaculate. I'm talking no leaks, no nothing. And we're going to get our hands dirty with this one. It's not going to be like the garage streams before where I'm pretty much just wiring it in my garage. We have the space to take this stuff apart. And because I have the space to take it apart, I don't have to worry about people messing with it. So just like with Kerbal, just like with KSP, there was keys on the fender. I'm sure that's good for it. Just like with KSP, the shuttle that we built, right, is not going to take nearly as long. Right, I belted it out we've built out 4 launch vehicles for the most part in better part of a month. Like less than that. We'll take it apart this time and we'll do it right. Anything that I half-assed basically, and I did half-ass a bunch of stuff because I wanted to get it running, and it does run. The thing runs. We're not most of the stuff that I did on the 59, we're not going to change. Like the wiring, all the wiring I did in the engine bay, no, that's fine. That doesn't need to change. It's good. So that's what we're going to fix. Yeah, this thing it needs some body work. I want it straight. I want it looking like it came from the factory. Like on the outside at least. It needs to be immaculate. I want it to be perfect. So when is it, RT? Brimo said that, okay, Kerbal 2 is coming out in February. So I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that January is probably when I need to get it done. Like that truck needs to be immaculate by the end of January. I think that's fair. Like if it's not, we're not using it. Because after February, when Kerbal 2 comes out, yeah, this isn't like, oh, I'll get it fixed sometime next year. No. That needs to be ready to go on the road, driving. Oh, come here. That needs to be ready to go on the road driving by then. Checklist. Well, we got a lot to do. So there's a lot of, I'm not going to lie to you guys, there's a lot of half-assed stuff on this truck. Not with the wiring, not the stuff that I did on stream, but I've had this truck for a long time. And I had it when I was a lot younger, and there's a lot of stuff on there that I did when I was a lot younger, and it's not the right way to do it. Like you'll see when I show you. So what we'll do is, after we're done with the gauge cluster and everything for this truck, we are going to spend, I'll do a day off stream, and we're going to spend the stream looking through this thing front to back
and we will write a list of everything that needs to be done. We'll write a list of everything, and then I'll budget it out, and then we'll buy the parts, and then we'll fix it. When's the new cluster come in? Wednesday. Go Bees. Captain's jersey right here, man. So yeah, that's what we got to do. You know, this is the keys to the garage in case anybody's wondering. I'm just going to put this in my pocket because I'm moving around this stuff, I don't want to scratch it. You know, and then once the 59 is done, then we can work on this thing. Or we could bring the Dodge in here and start working on that, but I'm not sure if that's going to get done anytime soon, but it would be cool. But you know what? You know what's interesting, dudes? I got a little bit of an issue, and maybe you can help me solve this. Once we finish the 59, if I bring the Coronet in here and we start working on the Dodge, where am I going to put the 59? I don't want to put a freshly restored truck outside, right? Like, I got to find a place to store the stupid thing. Yeah, Concrete, it's a big garage, dude. Yeah. It's enough to have 2 vehicles in here and do work, but I want the 59. You know, I want to have space to take up, like, dude, if you've ever taken a car apart, it doesn't seem like a lot of stuff, but if you take the stuff out and you lay it out, it is a lot of stuff. Build a bunker, get one of those tent garage things. Parts take up a ton of space. Yep. Do you have a regular garage attached to the main house? No, we don't, Nick. There's no garage on the main house. Someday. I'm thinking a tent structure would probably be good, but yeah, the Coronet is going to be a nightmare when we take that thing apart. Like a nightmare. Take a look at the box metal frame carports. All right, let's take a look. Oh, all right. Okay. Shut the desk cam off. How much do these things? Oh, frick. Okay. Yeah. How much is one of these? $570. Yeah. Yeah, those things are okay. Yeah, that might be a project for another day. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't want to store this stuff outside, like especially if we fix all of it, but I suppose if we, you know, I'm looking at the other camera. Get a Connex. I don't want to be that guy that puts shipping containers in his backyard. Like, yeah, okay. I mean, maybe we'll just shell out for one of those carports, man. Like, check around locally for flyers. They're often made and sold locally. Yep. I mean, the other option there is to get a lift. To get a 4-post lift, and we can move the workbenches, right? I'll find another spot for the workbenches. Maybe we'll put them right up against this wall here or something, and then put a 4-post lift on casters so I can store 2 cars over here on the side and then leave this spot to work. It's doable, but I mean, 4-post lifts are expensive. Well, back in a bit, sprint race time. Yeah. If you really care about what you're parking under it, the cheap tent ones will do a lot of free body work in a storm. Yeah. It's like, dude, I finally got a garage, right? And I finally got all my cars here, and it's so bad. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, this is enough space to work on it, but I want a place to store the cars too. Like, we have 5. Dang it. We have 5. Frick. It's never big enough. Yeah, that's right. It never will be, huh? 570 for that tent, though, is not too bad. I mean, considering it's like full-sized. You know, that's actually not bad. Wait, does the tent have, does it have like right away on both sides? Because if it did, I'd just put it up against the garage, you know? I don't think there's doors on both sides. Let me see. Nope, that's not that. There we go. Yeah, see, like something like this with you know, port on both sides. I'll like bolt this thing, like not bolt it, but that's about the size of my garage door. No, it's not. It's not even close. It'd be cool to just butt the tent up against it and just have it right there, you know? In my garage, I have an F-250 and then a 33-foot boat and a Saturn Sky side by side and a motorcycle. All right. How does that help me? Yeah, we could just cut out the other side. Yeah, I suppose. Some of them do, some of them don't. Yeah. Yeah, see, like that one right there. The king bird. That would be useful. But like, I'm also kind of like, maybe I shouldn't do that because I don't want to get into a habit of leaving that, like having that outside and being like, yep, that's extra garage space, and then just start like putting parts in it and stuff. Like, I don't want to do that. Can you build a lean-to on the side of the shop? Yeah, we could. I can go either way with the lean-to. Yeah. The sprint is about to start. What if you build one? Yeah, Birch. A lean-to is doable. You think, but like, here's what I can't, you know, building materials are expensive right now. So I'm thinking like building a lean-to would be a good idea. I could go that way with it. We could build a lean-to over there. That'd be great. Build it the length of this garage. I could put all my cars under a roof, which is good, but they're still outside. Ew, a Bruins shirt. Yeah. You have to deal with snow loads. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't want to, if we do a tent like that, I don't want it to be a permanent fixture. Because it'll just, yeah. Lay a Connex next to the shop and just frame the roof line down. I mean, worst, if we're going to do that, dude, I'm laying concrete. I'm putting it on a concrete slab, and that gets expensive. I mean, this thing we can haul the concrete with this. That's not a problem. Do you still have the Bruins jersey hanging up? It's actually in my house. Yeah, it's in my house. That's that way. Put the money into good wood posts and hardware. Then go to the scrapyard for sheets of metal. I mean, it looks bad, but it comes cheap. Yeah, Birch, that's not a bad way to do it. You know, I like the doing it yourself, the build it yourself thing too, because then you get exactly what you need, you know? Off the shelf stuff works to an extent. We would need a 40-foot Connex, yeah. The Connex inside of the lean-to is actually a pretty cool idea. But here's, like, that's the other thing, dude. Do I want to be that guy that has a bunch of Connexes in the backyard? I don't want to do that. Not because, like, I'm worried about what my neighbors think or anything. I don't really care. The neighbors' houses are far away. They're very far away. Like, I don't care about that. I just, like, every person I know that has Connexes in their backyard is a hoarder. You know exactly what I mean. They just, oh, I got space in the Connex, I'm going to use it. I don't want to build something that is too much space, because I know that if I'm not using all that space, I will justify it in my head as a place to store things. No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No. Bad idea. Don't want to do that. Just build a mini pole barn. K-Mag is still P1 after one lap. Yep, yep. Build a Jeff tent. Yeah. Skip the middle step and buy a second house. No. No, I don't want to do that. I don't think you do that. You have a legit storage space to store old restored vehicles. Yeah. Yeah. Want a stupid suggestion? Build a basement and an elevator lift. I have a buddy who uses one just for a metal shop, one for woodwork, and so on. He has his own little factory. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. I don't trust myself with Connexes, dudes. And even then, shipping containers are extremely expensive at this point. You might as well just buy your own, build your own. It just, I mean, it goes back to what the guy was saying in chat. Just build it. I'll have to budget it out. And either way, that's a project for next spring. But yeah, I mean, if I built a lean-to on the side of the garage, that's enough to store two, you know? So I could have one vehicle in here and two vehicles out there. That's a good idea. 2,500? I mean, for 2,500 bucks, like, the lean-to is not going to cost 2,500 bucks, you know? Yeah, I'll talk to my general contractor. A good buddy of mine around here is a GC. And yeah, he'll help me out. He helped me out with the office and stuff. Speaking of building, what do you think, what are we planning to get done in KSP today? And you think we're close to doing operational missions? Sorry, it's taking me a second to shift gears. I'm thinking. I'm sorry, Weed. I'm still thinking about the garage. Give me a second to kind of flip back over. We should, what time is it? It's 2:30. Okay, cool. We've done about a 30-minute break. We should be okay. I'm still thinking about the garage, dude. Yeah, a lean-to I think would be the best solution. A lean-to would be good. Concrete slab with a lean-to on it. You get sonnet tubes there for the posts. And then use 4x4 pressure treated wood, and then build just a lean-to on the side of this. This is it's a galvanized steel building. It's not going anywhere. And we could build it, and I could stream building it, which would be really neat. Don't forget the push-ups. How many push-ups do I need to do? 15? Was it 15? Is there a sawmill nearby? No, I don't think so. I'd have to look around. Winterside, I'm familiar with the area, but I'm not, like, it's not my home. It's not back in the city. All right, we'll do 10. We'll do 10. 10 push-ups, okay? 10 push-ups. Okay, you guys wanted 10. We'll do 10. Ready? Because you have the lapel mic, you're about to hear me struggle. There. There's your 10 push-ups. Breathe out when pushing up. Yeah, that too. Odin, I haven't really been following it, but I know N9 is good people, so. Form was a bit off. I'm going back to my desk. I gotta return some videotapes. Okay, this is back on Blue Snowball. Material prices are still coming down with winter hitting, demand is falling off, and supply is topping off. On top of the economy dropping. Yeah, well. Yep. All right. Oh, yeah. One more thing I noticed, dudes. I wanted to show you this. I noticed this yesterday. Not that one. Not that one. Check this out. Or the camera could just stop working. You know, that works too. Or it could just stop working. That's not good. Yeah, not good. I really need to figure out where that's coming from. Oil filter, huh? Huh. Oil pan gasket. That's not good. Well, that's not ideal. Yeah, it wasn't leaking before. But, yeah, not ideal. Yeah, I hope it's not the rear main, but it might be the rear main. Yeah, no, Winter, I'm not worried about cleaning up the oil. I can get the kitty litter. It's no problem. I'm saying, yeah, Birch, I'm thinking it's the pan gasket or the rear main. This motor, as far as I can tell, it's the original motor, and the Odo on this truck is reading 175,000. So the transmission is easy to remove. Transmissions don't leak oil. They leak ATF. Well, that one doesn't, but you get the idea.
So it's motor oil. It's not the transmission. Transmission isn't leaking. Not to complain, but the camera sync is messed up. All right. OBS, and it syncs it right back up. But to remove the rear main, you have to pull the transmission. Yeah. I'm thinking the gasket's fried because, like I said, as far as that, I don't think that's the original transmission. It's because it doesn't have a ZF. It doesn't have a ZF plate on it. I'm pretty sure that's not the original trans. Either that or it's the original. It's been rebuilt. Doesn't have the plate on it. There should be a ZF plate on it that says when it was made and stuff. And the spot for it is empty. There's no tag. As far as I can tell, that's the original motor and it's a reman transmission. But yeah, maybe we're gonna have to go take that apart. Can I just say how much I appreciate that you're wearing a Bruins shirt and I'm still captivated by your content. Cheers for all the hard work. Loving the content lately. I'm trying, Flight Sim. I told you guys this. I'm really making a concerted effort to try and just make the stream better. Like better. Just everything. Just do everything better. You know? But I do appreciate those kind words, man. Thank you. Yeah, no, it shows. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to step up my game. Like, look at what we have now. Dude, 2014 EJ would have dreamed about this. This is bucket list stuff. Look at what we have. Look at what we have for the stream. You got to be kidding me. I have a garage and I have both my trucks in the garage. That is like, I have two trucks. I have to. I can't just, now's not the time to just rest on your laurels, right? No, the hell with that, dude. We got to step our game up. I have a garage carpet. And I say that as a Habs fan. You guys are all right. Your hockey team sucks, but you guys are all right. I like Montreal. Montreal's fun, dude. People from that part of Canada generally really good folks, but seriously, frick your hockey team. And I would expect you to say the same to me, okay? Go Sabres. Oh, Flight Sim. Sabres. Imagine not being an 06 team. Don't worry about it. Maybe we're doing it with lentils, Jim. Who knows? Don't rest on your lentils. All right. Back to work. I love Boston, but the Bruins, ew. Oh, man. All right. Okay, let's go back over there. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't just stub my toe on that jack, on the floor jack over there, but I definitely did. And guess what, man? It hurts. Yeah. Yeah. I love your stream so much, but things with ICE. Internal combustion engines? Things with internal combustion engines are meh. That's an internal combustion engine right there. So is that. Yeah, I know, Flight Sim. We are good. So is that over there, and that, and that. Those are all internal combustion engines, man. They're not external combustion. No. They have a combustion chamber, and chemical deflagration happens in said combustion chamber. These are all internal combustion engines, by definition. Oh, you don't like the cars. All right. Yeah, okay. Also, F1 is pretty lit right now. Okay. Go bees! That's right, farmer. Cars O'Tools, they get me from point A to point B. And Arleon, I get it if it's not your cup of tea, but rockets do the same thing. I just like mechanical stuff. But I understand, I suppose. Maybe if I take one apart, I can change your mind. When I take it apart, dude, we'll show you. Dude, it's pretty much any mechanical equipment, if you haven't guessed. Rockets are just my favorite because it's literally an explosion factory. I mean, then again, so is a car engine. They're both explosion factories. But once again, I get what you're saying. I get it. If it's not your cup of tea, it ain't your cup of tea. All good. But cars are like in a close second for me behind spaceflight. Like, it's a pretty close second. But spaceflight bests it out because it's really, really cool. Because, you know, because the only thing better than cars, driving cars around, is driving cars around in space. Now that's cool. That is cooler. I will give you that. That is way cooler. Continuous versus serial explosion factory. Bingo. Airplanes. Airplanes also have internal combustion engines. That is an electric car, for what it's worth. Yeah. Yeah, see? Combustion chamber. After Chile, I have an internal combustion engine. Right. Let's find a ballast. Show us how interesting cars work. That I would like to see. Well, shoot, man. I could show you something interesting on the red and white truck if you really want to see. You really want to see real quick? Here, I'll show you. Look. So, let me get the camera out. I'll show you, and then we'll play Kerbal. Check this out. Very interesting thing going on here. All right. So, you're out here. Let me get the camera. You want to see something cool? So, the front of this truck and Ford trucks from 1963 to 1997 were equipped with a special type of independent front suspension. Now, the trucks like the 59 doesn't have independent front or rear. There is a solid bar of metal connecting the two hubs, and there's two leaf springs on the front of the 59 suspension, right? So, wrong camera. So the 59 has a solid beam, okay? Yeah, I gotta... Bossy, they're the same webcam, so it's like... So, there's a solid beam that connects the two hubs with two leaf springs. I don't think I have the slack to go over there and see that, to like go and show you, but... So, Ford, in the 60s, introduced something called twin I-beam suspension. And this truck, it was such a good... It's a good design. It's frankly a great design. It's an independent front suspension. So, we're talking independent front suspension on trucks in the 60s, in the early 60s. So, I think they introduced twin I in 63. 63 or 64. It's one of those years. So, twin I is independent front. So, you have your two frame rails, and with independent front, you generally pivot off of each frame rail, right? You have wishbone suspension. and it pivots. So like if you take a Mustang, the Mustang has two huge crossbars that are called a subframe that go to the front, like a 60s Mustang, right? And then there's a hinge on the bottom of the frame, and that's connected to a control arm that looks kind of like a peace sign, right? It's kind of a triangle. The triangles go up and down like this. That's a McPherson strut independent front suspension. Now this right here does not have that. This does have an independent suspension, but I'll show you how it works. It's very interesting. So, you figure with the Mustang, you don't need a lot of suspension travel, right? You don't need that. It's driving on roads. It's not an off-road vehicle. But Ford knew with trucks that people were going to use them. They're going to drive them off-road. They were going to go, drive them down a dirt path for your farm. You can use it on the road, and you can use it on, you can use it to, pull a tractor around or something. Not pull a tractor. That's not how that works. Sorry, I'm from the city. It shows sometimes. You could use it to haul stuff, to take stuff to market, etc., etc. Long story short, you needed your suspension. You have a lot of articulation. And because your frame rails, right? The frame rails on the truck are like right here. This truck has them. Frame rails on the truck are like right here and then parallel on the opposite side. Going from like here to where the tire is, right? From here to where the tire is, you don't have that much of a lever arm, right? So what Ford came up with is something called twin I-beams. And the webcam came unplugged. Give me one moment. You just got a nice picture of my chin. That's good. And now you're probably getting some horrible desync. Give me 1 second. Like I said, over here, it's not a big deal. So check this out. They came up with a really cool idea. There's right there the twin I-beam suspension. It's pretty freaking cool. Let me get the light and I'll show it to you. So. You see that? You see how the suspension works? They wanted to get more articulation for better off-roading, so the suspension could take a beating. You have a lot of travel between up and down on the wheel because you're not going to drive this on a road. So those right there are heavy-duty twin eyes, okay? You see the left and the right bars. Bingo. I'm going to get a little bit away from the microphone here because I didn't plug the lapel mic back in, but I mean, I could turn that back on. Here, I'll just do that. It'll be easier that way. All right. Let me get the lapel. All right.
Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay, cool. So let's get down there. I'll show you. I'm just going to add the high cam here to this scene. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So check this out. To get better articulation and better travel, you have the left-hand hub, okay? It doesn't pivot off the frame rail. There's the frame rail right there. See it? It doesn't pivot off that. The left side, so this is the driver's side wheel, it pivots over here. See that over there? The pivot is on the left side or the right side frame rail for the left tire. And the right side tire is pivoting off the left frame. It's behind it. They fold over each other like a scissor lift. See the pivot? See it up in there? second. Test. Camera stalled. Why would the camera stall? So, wait a minute. Something is very wrong here. Give me 1 second, fellas. My dashboard says I'm offline. Not offline, we see you. Okay, the dashboard just messed up. All right. Hang on a minute. There we go. All right, cool. Your dashboard, yeah, I know, the dashboard croaked. So you see that? They pivot like a scissor lift, like that. That made the suspension travel a lot more. You could literally drive this thing down a dirt road or even drive it off-road, and it gives you a really, really smooth ride. That's a really, really interesting thing that Ford did for a long time. They got rid of it in 1997 because I guess independent front was better. But that's something cool about these old trucks. It has a scissor lift suspension on it. Very, very cool stuff. That's some Kraken tech in real life, man. That's just, dude, there is stuff like that all over the place with old cars. Yo, my guy, what's up? Yo, there he is. Yeah? He's leaking oil like a freaking sieve, but whatever, dude. Hurt, what's good, bro? How you doing? Yo, I saw you burn it down at SEMA, man. That was sick, dude. The body kit, though. The kit is kind of thrashed, man. But yeah, I was talking to Chad about the twin eyes that are in this thing. It's got like the front suspension on this. The independent is like a scissor lift. It's actually really cool. It's one of the reasons why I like this truck so much, because they don't make suspension like that anymore. Yo, 10 subs from an Arleon. Thank you. I appreciate that. I only did it because you're rebuilding it in December. My guy. There you go. That's sweet, dude. Thanks for the explanations. Yeah, in Arleon, the automotive industry is full of cool stuff like that. Like, I call it like supersonic retropropulsion tier stuff. There's stuff like that all over the place. Little things like that, that's really, really cool engineering. And that's part of the reason why I like these Ford trucks, because they got those twin I-beams in them, which is really, really interesting. It's cool, man. Just popped in to say hi. Stoked to see you garage streaming. Dude, Hurt, we hooked this all up here so I can go back and forth between my office and the garage. Check this out, dude. Watch. So I can go like back over here. And we can
It's all being encoded on my PC in here. Sorry, I switched the scene. Yeah, professional. So, you need a wireless mic. Like that one. So, yeah, we can just hop back and forth, dude. Yeah, NDI plugins, dude. Just get the NDI plugin, put it into OBS, and as long as the computer is on the same network in the PC that you're streaming from, you should be able to pick up on the scene. Yeah, it's super clutch, man. You could just flip back and forth, so I don't need to go offline if I want to work in the garage. It's just a plugin, dude. Yeah. Didn't change any setups.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
And Arleon, thank you for the 10 subs, dude. Yeah, dude, we can... If you want to get into cool, just weird stuff like that with cars, with my cars. A lot of my cars have weird stuff like that. I can show you all that stuff. It's pretty neat, dude. Yep. Hey, it's here you go, buddy. Oh, thank you. Did you say clutch? Yeah. But yeah, here we can, you're going to get double audio here in a second.
There we go. So, yeah, I can just pop back and forth. So I have the F2 shitty in here, and I'm trying to make it less shitty. We're actually the dashboard is apart right now. If we switch back over to that the desk cam. Yeah, see, there's your twin eyes right there. Really strong suspension because a lever arm. You have a longer lever. That longer lever gives you way more suspension travel. It's cool, man. Like, there's all kinds of little stuff like that in here. I could show you a bunch. Actually, if you have a moment of your time, I can show you another one if you really want. Like, I'm not trying to sell you on this stuff, but it is cool. Like, there's a reason why I like certain vehicles because of cool stuff like that. George won the sprint. Ugh. I can't be online every day. I don't like cars, but I love engineering. Yeah, no, there's all kinds of cool stuff like that from old American cars. And even in Japanese cars, there's all kinds of trick stuff. If you want something that pertains to what I usually talk about, I can talk about aero if you want. There's some cool aerodynamic trickery in the intake on this car or on the truck. Yeah, Archimedes, give me a lever and I will move the world. Indeed. Here, I can show you one more thing if you want. So here, let me pop the hood on the truck. Come here. There goes the lapel mic. Wires. Didn't I get a wireless mic for this reason? Give me one second. So, I've showed this off before, but it is a pretty cool thing. Engine aerodynamics. So, engine aero really matters, right? That's a really big deal. If you have drag going into your engine, you're going to have a bad day, right? You want laminar flow. The same thing that you want to make an airplane wing work correctly, you want clean air going into the engine. So if you look, see these tubes right here? These are called runners, okay? These gray tubes, they're called runners. So Ford figured out in the late 70s that if you have clean air that's undisrupted going into the engine, and you give it a nice long run into the motor can make more torque. The reason why is because if you don't have drag inside of the intake here, you don't have drag in there, right? The air moves nice and uniform, and if it moves uniform into the ports, right? You can get more air in. There's literally more air in here because the air is at higher pressure because it's moving faster. Laminar flow, same thing that an airplane uses on its wing, right? An airplane accelerates. You need clean air going in, and you get high pressure underneath, low pressure on the top. What Ford is trying to do here is trying to make a long run to accelerate the air going in. It's a little bit of trickery right there that you can use to make the engine make more power. Now, the ideal way would be the runners going straight up, like them going straight up. But you don't want to have runners popping out of the hood on every car, right? You don't want that. So what they did was they figured out the ideal angle that you could bend the entire thing and put it on its side right here. See this gray box right here that the runners are connected to? This is called a plenum. They figured out that if you bend it on its side, you could bend it a certain way and it won't take that much of a hit. You're not going to create that much drag by having the air bend like that. But air, any type of air that flows through a fluid medium does not like to turn. Any gases don't like turning. You turn a gas, it's going to disrupt the air and you're going to create drag. If you create drag in the intake manifold of a car because you have to turn the air, you're taking a performance hit. So they have that plenum over here. See the plenum? That right there is a reservoir because gas is compressible, right? It's a reservoir. And you want to build up high pressure in the reservoir. So when the intake valve opens on the engine, you have high pressure, clean air inside of the intake. And that'll force the air into the engine. It's not forced induction, but it's a way to improve aerodynamics inside of the engine. And if you look at all cars nowadays, most cars have a long runner intake like this. The longer you can make the runners, the more torque you're going to make, because you can get more, and the more power too, you can get more air into this thing. But you got to remember, engines rev. So ideally you would want a different shape for the plenum at higher revs than at lower revs. This is a compromise. This is because this is a truck. That plenum is designed to make torque on the low end because this engine is not designed to rev very high. Right? So in the 80s, they were really trying to figure out ways that you could squeeze all the power that you possibly could out of these engines, because what was going on is emissions were choking the engines off. They put there's all this crap on the engine that makes it so, you don't want more, you don't want emissions, right? And I get it, I understand that. But all that stuff creates drag, and all that stuff literally chokes off the engine. And if you're choking off an engine, you're leaving power on the table. It's way less efficient, right? By definition, an engine that doesn't have any emission stuff on it is way more efficient than an engine with like a cat on it, because you can flow air faster. It's not really good for the environment, but it's way more efficient. So they were trying to figure out ways around that. And if you look at the tubes. They go all the way. They're nice and straight. They don't turn very much. That's on purpose. Even the bend that they make to get into the plenums, they kind of go like this and then go in. There's two plenums actually stacked on top of each other. This top one that says 5.8 on it is designed to go to the left bank. And then there's one underneath it, which is designed to go to the right bank. There's two plenums, and that's why I have two intake hoses here. Because what they were trying to do is create the highest amount of pressure inside of that plenum that they could. Get as much air in there as you can. So when that intake valve opens, this thing depressurizes and accelerates the air inward. And you also get, the other thing is that you get way better fuel atomization with that, but that's a whole nother thing. You don't get atomization here because this isn't a carburetor. This thing has a fuel injector on it. See this stainless rail, the stainless steel rail right here with this bleed valve on it? That is a pressurized fuel injection system. So you have solenoids right here. They're called fuel injectors. They are right there. It's the thing with the wire coming out of it that I'm pointing at right there with this finger. See that? That is an electronically actuated solenoid. It's a valve that just clicks open and close, a lot like a hypergolic rocket engine. Hypergolic rocket engines have those. They have solenoids on them, an electronically actuated solenoid behind a pressurized fuel system. That sounds a lot like the principles of operation of an AJ-10, for instance, the Space Shuttle Orbiter Maneuvering System engines with a helium back pressure. That's exactly how they work. These aren't back pressurized by helium. This thing isn't that high tech, but it's the same principle. So you have a fuel pump that pressurizes the stainless rails. That's why they're metal. And then when the fuel pump, when this clicks open, the gasoline inside goes from extremely high pressure inside of the fuel manifold to extremely low pressure inside of the combustion chambers, which are down there underneath the gray valve cover. See down there? These are exhaust ports right there, the thing with the bolt. Down there where the spark plug wires go. Like just to the right of that. This thing. Right there. See that? That's an exhaust port. The combustion chamber is right behind that exhaust port. Or right underneath it, I should say. So what they're trying to do, the reason why, like all modern internal combustion engine cars have fuel injection systems like that. Because when you deliver fuel at high pressure and then you click that solenoid open and it immediately goes to low pressure, you're getting atomization. That is exactly what a jet engine does. Jet engines, rocket engines have injector plates. The injector plates aren't solenoid driven unless it's a hypergolic engine. but they do have injector plates because rocket engines do the same thing. They chemically deflagrate oxidizer and fuel. It's the same thing. Your car does the same thing that a rocket engine does, except if it's an electric car, then no, it doesn't. But yeah, man, dude, I know it. Dude, I could go on and on. There's a ton of cool stuff like that on cars. Every car is like this. But, you know, I know the Ford truck's better than most. Better than, not better than most people, better than most other cars. It's the same thing, dude. The only difference is that a rocket engine doesn't have a variable geometry combustion chamber, all right? So with a car engine, your intake valve opens, you spray, air gets delivered in, air and fuel does get delivered in because this is port fuel injection. They're shooting it into the exhaust, into the intake port. That's where those fuel injectors are. They're right at the end of that long runner. So you get extremely high pressure fuel and you get low pressure. You get high pressure fuel, high pressure laminar flow, and you're atomizing, you're depressurizing fuel in that laminar flow. And that chemically binds the fuel to the oxidizer. And then it goes into the combustion chamber. That piston comes up, it compresses that air fuel mixture, and then the spark plug makes it go off. And that blows the piston back down. You have a variable geometry combustion chamber. With rockets, you don't have that. With rockets, you just got to find a way to atomize the fuel and blow it up and then shoot it through a choke, shoot it through a funnel, which is called a venturi. Yeah, it's cool stuff, man. There's all kinds of gnarly engineering on these cars. Like, people take this stuff for granted. That's part of the reason why I like it, because what that does and what a rocket engine does, same thing. It's literally the same thing. Sometimes it's with the same fuel. If anybody has a diesel truck out there, diesel truck does almost the exact same thing that Falcon 9 does. It's almost the exact same fuel. The oxidizer is a little different, but same idea. No, 2020. Yep. Yeah, clutch, it does, because it's a newer car. But, I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm such a Michigan fanboy. Not the football team. I mean, blue is cool, I guess. But a lot of these crazy ideas, these crazy things that all modern cars have, came from Detroit. Like long tube runners, that's a Michigan idea all day. That's Detroit. That's Detroit 101, dude. They were the first ones to figure it out. Automatic transmissions, Detroit. Differentials, Detroit. Actually, technically differentials were New York State. The guy that came up with them lived in Buffalo. The diff in the back of the car. That was an idea from the American automobile industry. Now, don't get me wrong. There's other. It's not just us that like revolutionized the auto industry. I'm just really proud of the stuff that my country comes up with. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of really, really awesome mechanical engineering that was thought of over the years. And once again, don't get me wrong. You go to Japanese stuff in the 80s, some of the stuff they were doing makes this look like a chalkboard comparatively to like blueprints. What the Japanese were cooking up in the late 80s, early 90s is absurd. It is ridiculous. Like, I could tell you all about that stuff too. It's really freaking cool. No, it's emissions exempt, sir. So yeah, dude, there's all kinds of cool stuff. I could sit here and do lessons on how all this stuff works. It's wild. Some of the stuff that they come up with, dude, some of the stuff that they came up with, like a sealed diff, for instance, that's so smart. The mechanical engineering is so nice. It's like SpaceX. You know how like Elon has this obsession with like taking ideas and just boiling them down to the absolute basic, best part is no part stuff? Dude, the automobile industry has been doing that for years. Where do you think he got the idea? That's where he got the idea. Because he makes automobiles. Straight up. Makes sense? And with rocket science, that principle is absolutely applied because of the rocket equation. All this stuff is connected, man. It's all connected together. So, like, once again, and Arlene, I'm not trying to sell you on cars. Like, you don't need to be a car nutcase. But there is cool mechanical engineering all over the place, and I can show you it. Yeah, the Japanese went crazy with motorcycles, cars, airplanes. It's really cool. It's really cool. Even some of the European stuff, the Euro stuff from the late 60s. I mean, heck, Ferdinand Porsche, rear engine, rear engine design, that was light years ahead of its time. Light years ahead of everything else. No one was even doing anything close to that. Yeah, I mean, even the French in the 70s with hydropneumatic suspension, freaking genius. That was Citroën. Citroën came up with that. Hydropneumatic suspension is nuts. So they have one strut in the car. And now a strut nowadays on suspension is like a coil spring with a shock absorber in it, right? The French got rid of the coil spring and they use water as a damper and gas as a shock absorber in one thing. It's just a tube, right? And it's filled with water and air. And the water inside works as your spring, the water works as your damper and the compressed air works as a spring. Why? Why does that happen? Well, water is incompressible. So once you hit the water, it's going to dampen out the force real quick. It's going to dampen and dampening out the force because it's wet. Water. Jokes. Okay. But gas is compressible. So gas will want to decompress, right? If you try to compress it high, if you compress air, you have a compressed air can to clean your keyboard, you pull the thing, it wants to decompress, right? Same thing, dude. They put gas and water inside of a strut and created hydropneumatic suspension. It is extremely simple, and it was a crazy, crazy idea. I don't think they ever did anything with it, but it was really smart, man. Renault came up with the idea of making bad engines. The way you say Citroën, it sounds like Citroën. Merci. Hydraulic suspension and Benz are cool, and they're very expensive. Yep. I mean, the Italians did some really cool stuff with cars too, but there's also some really not cool stuff that they came up with. Like, I think it was an Alfa GTV6, right? And they came up with the idea of operating the power steering, which needs variable compression. It's driven off of a camshaft. Camshaft RPM shouldn't change. And because power steering, when you turn the wheel more, you're creating more hydraulic compression. You're creating higher pressure in the line. If you turn the wheel too much, it grenades the engine because it takes the camshaft out of sync. Oops. Yeah, it purposely stalls the engine. It's like hydrolocking the motor if you turn the wheel too much. Hey, mistakes were made. There were some bad ideas. The Zero was a smash hit from Japan. Repost. Yeah, I get it. We say Citroën. 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 Oh, Renault. Or should I say Renault and just piss everybody off? Yeah, dude, there's all kinds of crazy designs like that out there. That's why I like cars, because the fact that, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like them so much. The fact that this is like readily accessible. Like I can go buy one. You can go buy a car. The amount of engineering and the amount of mechanics, the mechanical engineering, the amount of aerodynamic engineering that went into building one of these things, just one. And there's millions of them. It's wild to me. It's wild that high a tech is just available to anyone. That's really freaking cool. I think that's really neat. Where's your fridge? It's over there. It's by the end of the pickup bed. Early Saab had something similar, but with the brakes. So if he went downhill, you had to be on the gas and the brake or something like that. Yeah, there was all kinds of cool stuff, man. I mean, in this, you know what the crazy thing is? This is just a simple truck. Like, does this look like anything? Does this look like anything nuts? No, it's just a truck. You see this thing driving down the road, it's just, all right, it's another truck. But all the engineering and all the design that went into this thing. Dude, I bought this truck for nothing. I got that truck for nothing. Like nothing. Dude, like for the amount of engineering that went into this, think about it like a video game, right? I mean, dude, myself included, we get annoyed when we see a video game at like a $60 or $70 price point, right? But do you really think that, I mean, think about all the software engineering, all the 3D modeling, all the texturing, all the lighting, all the production, all the work that had to go into that. Dude, even a $70 price point is not too bad. That ain't too bad. It's not the worst, right? And, you know, on top of that, the crazier thing is that I can fix this. I can work on this right here, and I can show you guys all this stuff. It's wild. That's really cool to me. I think that's really neat. That's why I like cars so much. That and doing burnouts is really, really fun. Like, really fun. Taking the chemical potential energy in gasoline and converting it to mechanical work, and then converting that mechanical work to heat in the form of friction in the tires spinning really, really fast. That's really amusing. Yeah, it's really amusing. I didn't, Bauxy, no. I've been on a garage brakes. Been on a garage brakes. But anyway, yeah, hopefully that kind of, do you do brakes? Yeah, sure. I did the brakes on, well, heck, I did the brakes on this truck too. I had Brimo's dad help me, but yeah, I can tell you about brakes. Brakes are even easier. It's literally just a hydraulic system, closed loop hydraulic system. Very, very simple. Will model rocket stuff happen after you fix the truck? I would like to do rocketry in here. Yeah, sure. That's what that side of the garage is for, believe it or not. This side, I want all my car stuff, and over there, I got a drill press, and we got a bunch of stuff I got to put together. No, I did the brake work on it after the wheel came off. I kind of had to. Turns out that when the tire just decides to eject itself, your brakes end up ablating off. They're not ablating, they were friction. Here, even if you get it for free, you pay all your money to taxes every year. Gross. Ocon's car is on fire in the pit lane. Alpine literally brakes after a third of the race distance. Yeah, Renault engines, am I right? But yeah, and Arleon, if you want me to like go into the engineering, anybody else, you guys want me to go into the engineering on how all this stuff works, dude, we can do that. We can do that while we're taking the stuff apart and fixing it. No problem. Oh, these things are cool, man. They're really cool. They're really, really interesting pieces of kit. And yeah, Chief, I know in Greece it's a little different, but here, dude, I have 5 cars. That just blows my mind that they're so accessible. Like, it does not take a lot to get a car in this country, but it's the U.S., so what do you want? Like, what do you want? Taxation on engine displacement? I got no words. But yeah, man, that's why this stuff is cool. And when the gauge cluster comes in, I'll show you guys how to do all that. Because I spent 8 hours trying to figure it out, and we did figure it out, but it freaking took me long enough. All right, let me close this. All right, dudes, I'm going to shut the lapel mic off. We had that in Germany, but switched to CO2 emissions a few years back. How many cc's? 5,800. 5,800 cc in this truck. 5.8 liter. In cubic inches, that's 351 cubic inches. I hear you. Interesting stuff. Thank you. Yeah, all good, man. Yeah, and Arleon, like, I'm not just another like truck bro, you know, like blah, blah, blah. Like, the reason I like this is the same reason why I like space. Like the space stuff. The space stuff is just this, but way more precise. Like way more precise because it has to be. And I like that. I like that it has to be perfect. That's really cool. Ever think of doing a hydrogen generator on this? Peptic, I've never actually been asked that. Dude, I'll be honest with you. I know about the engineering, but I don't know if I'm smart enough to be able to do that. And if it's one thing that I know about hydrogen is that it explodes really nicely. And I'm not sure I'm ready to do that live on the internet. You know what I mean? Train horn? Nah, dude. I'm not that type of guy. Hey, Bob Lazar did it. Bob Lazar also made jet engines out of turbochargers. Now, if you guys want to do that, maybe your boy knows how to do that. You could catch it in buckets. Yeah. You would pay on average $2,000 every year just for this one car. That sucks. Yeah. Yeah, Victory, I don't want to do that. I see them all the time when gas prices skyrocket, but I don't know if it's really worth building. I mean, honestly, what you'd want is a fuel cell. Fuel cells would be good, but even then, you're screwing with COPVs with a fuel cell. And I'm not sure I'm smart enough to do that. You know what I mean? I can change the oil on a car. But I'm not sure. It's what I always say about like any hardcore engineering and like rocket science and stuff. The principles are easy to understand. Rocket science is easy to learn. It's easy to understand. It is really hard to do. Yeah, it's hard to do it. Hey, DNF, what's up? All right, man. Night, dude. Thanks for the subs. I do appreciate it. You could build one of these. Homemade ramjet? Ramjet? Oh, yeah, a little pulse detonator guy. Actually, no, straight ramjet. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why there's thousands of people building a rocket. I think with chat looking over my shoulder, Shrub, we could probably pull it off, but still. I know about free valve tech. Yep. Free valve is cool, but I'm not sure that for the complexity of a free valve system, I know it's less parts, right? I'm not sure for the complexity of that thing, it really is kind of something that you would want. Like when I see ideas for cars, right? You want the least amount of complexity, right? It needs to be simple. It needs to be simple because you're going to make a lot of these things. You got to mass produce it. So you want to mass produce something simple. You know, I look at something like free valve, and free valve's sick, dude. Don't get me wrong. The engineering is nuts. Like Koenigsegg with it is that's just beautiful stuff. But I'm not sure if like a regular internal combustion engine car needs that. You know what I mean? Yeah, right, Victory. Yeah, that's right. But anyway, all right, guys. It's 3 o'clock, a little past 3. We got to go. We got Kerbal to play, boys. So let's do it. I'm switching back to the snowball mic here, and then I'm going to plug the lapel mic in to charge, dudes. Catch you on the flip side. All right, plus. Yeah, the flip side like right over there, right? Yeah. Yeah, give me 15 seconds. I swear to God if one of you counts. Yeah, you're counting, aren't you? I'm back. Okay. There's your garage stretch break.